Hi, I'm Diane, your host of Epic Conversations. Thanks for joining us. And we're back again with my good friend David McClure. David is no stranger to the Epic Conversations. David has, he's a director of customer engagement, Andrew Womack Ministries, and a great leader. David leads, 180 people in climbing, about somewhere around there. And you know what I like about David? He loves people. And I believe that's one of the things you need to be a leader, especially if you're leading people. And on this episode, both David and I, and many other people too, we attended the Kingdom Business Summit that Charis Bible College had. And there was we had John Maxwell was one of the speakers.
John Maxwell, Dr. Radke.
Yeah, we had Dr. Radke. I mean, we had quite a few speakers, Andrew Womack and Billy Epperhart. But we wanted to go through some of the notes, and one of the things that we wanted to talk about was the cycle of success. Because John Maxwell said, and you're a great leader, David, leaders see more and they see before. Mm-hmm. So you see more than anybody else, and then you see before everybody else. So that's what a leader does. They see more and before. And then he went through a process, which I thought was awesome. And the process was 5 things we repeatedly do. Mm-hmm. One is we get tested. Well, so test, and then what comes after that? You fail. You test, you fail, mm-hmm. and then you learn.
Okay? You hope.
You hope, okay. You better learn. And then you improve, mm-hmm. and you re-enter. And he did say, like when you said you hope, if you don't learn, mm-hmm. you're going to keep hitting. You're going to get test, fail, test, fail, test, fail. You've got to learn and then improve. And then when you re-enter, you're mm-hmm. not going to hit the ceiling anymore.
Correct.
So I had a situation that happened to me. Okay. And I'm sure you've had situations that happened to you.
We're going to hear a story here.
Yeah, we're going to hear a story. I got to tell you a story, David. I was so excited. I mean, I've had like all these, I'm the old-fashioned, remember I just took pages of notes. I had 30 pages or something, who knows. But I started with a bunch of people back at work, and mm-hmm. we had a small group of people who all got together because I love to brainstorm, and I like to hear what other people have to say because mm-hmm. they have a point of view that I don't have. They heard something I might have missed, and so together. So we all got together, shared our notes, so maybe about 6 people. Okay. And so then we're all excited. We wanted to do it again. So I got permission, and we were allowed to have this mm-hmm. on-site, on-work time meeting, and it was just awesome, all excited, I'm all pumped up. Well, when the day came for the meeting, David, nobody showed up. You know, it was poor timing, bad timing, mm-hmm. you know, and it was just like nobody could make it.
Umpteen
reasons. So I'm sitting there, and I wasn't sure if anybody was going to come because I opened it up to more than just the first 6. So I was waiting there and sitting in the conference room, and when nobody showed up, I realized this is a test. Mm-hmm. Okay, what am I going to do with it? Am I going to get disappointed and allow mm-hmm. disappointment to rule me for the rest of the day? Mm-hmm. Am I going to have a pity party? Am I going, whatever. I mean, I could think of 1,000,000, 100, or whatever, bad emotions I could do. Mm-hmm. But I do know one thing. When you do have a test and then you learn, and when you do have disappointments, it's mm-hmm. not that you want to say, well, I'm not going to. But I call it a grieving process because it's a loss, it's a appointment that didn't happen, and there's a grieving process that has to happen. Okay. But the grieving process doesn't have to last 10 years or even, could maybe be 10 minutes. But it's a process you go through in your mind, and it's similar to the one John just talked about. You know, you get a test, and then you fail it, but you got to learn from it, and then you improve and then move on. And that's what happened. And it was interesting because I asked the Lord, what happened? why? And all these bad thoughts were coming. And by the end of that day, the Lord spoke to me. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I'm walking up my stairs, and I heard the answer.
What was it?
This was your test, and you passed.
So when did you fail? If you passed, did you fail?
See, that's a good question, because I thought I failed because nobody showed up. See, but that wasn't the test. The test wasn't about anybody else.
Okay.
It was, how am I going to react to the situation? That was the test. Yeah. So I kept a good attitude. But by 11 o'clock at night, I put the closure in my mind.
And you used the word grieving process. And I'd probably question you on that a little bit.
Oh, he's putting me under the microscope. Look at this.
Because first off, if something fails, you have two choices. You grieve that it failed, or you learn from the failure. There's a whole thing we've probably all read about Abraham Lincoln, who failed like 25 different times, went bankrupt umpteen times, fill in the blanks. And he finally succeeded. Well, I believe each time, using John Maxwell's thing, I believe each time that we fail, if we're still striving to get better, that ceiling raises a little bit. So even though we may be failing, each time we're going a little higher before we fail.
You've learned.
And so if we look at it as, well, boy, that didn't work. Why didn't it? Mm-hmm. And then we start asking questions. Well, why didn't you show up? Oh, I forgot. Oh, I had this meeting. Fill in the blank. And so then you improve. It's test, fail, improve. Mm-hmm. So you improve by figuring out what would work better. And then, was it test, fail, improve? What was the next one?
Test, fail, learn, improve, re-enter.
Okay. So you actually went through test, fail, learn. Mm-hmm. Improve is finding out why it didn't work and figuring out what will work. Uh-huh. And then you re-enter, you schedule another one in whatever fashion it looks like.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I did. But I used the word grieving process. Mm-hmm. I probably should have explained it. A grieving process because there was a loss.
Okay.
And the loss, whatever in my mind, and so when there's a loss, you have to process it. And whether you call it a grieving process or a test, fail, learn, it's the same thing. There's a process. And I think sometimes what happens is that people have a situation where they have a test and they fail, and they're not sure what to do with it. They don't know, all right, how am I going to learn from this? But they never get to the learning or the improving or the re-entering, and they get stuck. Mm-hmm. And what I've found out is you need to go through the process. You can't just stop and say, well, I'm not going to ever do that again. And here comes, they've stopped. Mm-hmm. They didn't learn. They just said, well, that just didn't work. And so whether you call it a grieving process, but it's a cycle of success. And you need to go through a process. You can't just happen like that. And now the process doesn't have to take that long. For me, that last time, it took less than 24 hours. Yeah. But it was still a process. You had to go through it.
Well,
so tell me some in your mind.
I would say this, as you were talking the test fail, I'm thinking back to school days.
Yeah.
We won't talk about Bible college. We'll go back to like high school. And you get that test handed back to you and you see that F. Uh-huh. I'm sure I had one or two. Uh-oh. And you see that F and, it's like, my first thing was always, well, what did I miss? So you start looking for all the red check marks. Mm-hmm. And you reread the question. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Because here's the thing about it, the test, fail, learn, improve, mm-hmm. you can use that on a school test. Because, that test you took today, that weekly test on the chapter 7, some of those questions are going to be on the final exam. Uh-huh. So if you don't learn from the questions you miss, mm-hmm. then when it comes time for the final exam and 2 of those questions are on there, you're going to fail them again. Yeah. And so I look at this whole process is just like taking that test in school. You find out what you missed so that you can improve. Now, I was sharing this with Leslie after John Maxwell talked about that ceiling. And, sometimes it's like, I'd be laying under the car working on it. And you start sliding out from underneath the car and you raise up too soon. And I have smacked my head more than once on the bottom of the car because I wasn't far enough out. Well, if you never slide farther, you're going to bump your head every single time. So when John was doing this, sometimes we have to realize that ceiling's not moving. So maybe I need to come over here. That's a learning process.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you have to make an adjustment.
Exactly. Exactly. And I would say this, Diane, you did not fail. All the people who weren't able to come, for whatever reason, they were the ones who lost out. Yet you lost some too because there would have been that iron sharpened iron.
Right.
But they're the ones that lost out.
Yeah, there was there was no discussion available.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're learning.
We are.
We're going through the process. I mean, we can do some more episodes on this another time because I got so many.
That was like one page, right?
That was barely a page. It was only like a half a page. Oh, my goodness. Well, that was a good one, though.
It was.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And that's life, isn't it? Life. That's life. It's a cycle. And so thank you, David.
My pleasure.
Thank you for your insight, too. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for joining us. So we all have this cycle of success, and we hope you got that. And we look forward to seeing you next time. In the meantime, have an epic day in the Lord. Hi, I'm Diane Grubus, and I've started a ministry, and I want to bless you. I'm so excited about it. DianeGrubus.com. Go to the website and check out all the wonderful things that we have in store for you. We have some great epic conversations with some powerful guests and some teachings, free downloads. And we would love to have you join us, love to have you partner with us. We appreciate you and we want to hear from you. So check out the website and thank you.